Yo, DJ, are you done mixing yet?
Your DJ has only just begun.
Hello, I'm Bishop T.D. Jakes, and you're watching Brother Steve TV.
Hey, it's LaToya Luckett, and you're watching Brother Steve TV.
This is Rance Allen, and you're watching my friend, Brother Steve TV.
Hey, y'all, this is Leandra Johnson, and you're watching Brother Steve TV.
Hi, this is Rodney Darkchild Jerkins. This is Chris Tucker. This is Kirk Franklin. And you are watching Brother Steve. And you're watching Brother Steve TV. Stay tuned.
From Hollywood, California, you're watching Brother Steve TV.
Hands up! LA! Scream!
Woo! I'm excited today, Brother Steve, from Hollywood, California, watching it. You know what? We're on early today because of the time zone. Michelle is with us right now. She's going to be live. She's live in Ghana right now. Michelle, I'm going to have you share this video to your page, Michelle. Michelle, share this interview. Michelle, there you go. Michelle's posting right now. She's about to share it to her page right now. This is off the chain. It is awesome. It is wonderful. A lot of people, you want to share this interview. We've got the one on Michelle McKinney Hammond with us today. Incredible story. Incredible story. You've got to hear her testimony. If you are a writer, you want to know how to write novels, books. If you want to be an entrepreneur, almost said something else. You want to be an entrepreneur, know how to get it out there and make it happen. You want to know the art of reinventing yourself. Share this video. I'm asking you to share this video, and I'm getting ready to open the floor right now. For those out there who want to ask Michelle a question. Now, she is live in Ghana, in Africa right now, and she's going to be joining us. So if you want to ask Michelle a question, hit me in the inbox, in the comments right there, and we're going to get your questions in. We're going to try to get this interview. She only got a short amount of time with y'all, but Michelle McKinney Hammond herself is with us. Brother Steve, I'll be right back.
This is it. Your big break in the entertainment industry starts right now. It's the ultimate exclusive entertainment industry boot camp from Hollywood, California. Learn television, filmmaking, radio, retail, distribution, manufacturing, marketing, voiceovers, casting, producing, funding, animation, PR, social media, reality shows, and so much more. 3 days, 13 hours a day. Get the facts, not the fluff. Stop faxing, texting, and mailing projects only to get no response. You'll meet the executives, legends, and decision makers of Hollywood up close and in your face. You'll go behind the scenes and watch Hollywood in action. But wait, there's a twist. No registration lines, no boring panels, no speakers running out the side door. It's your up close and personal encounter with the industry you've always wanted. Bring your copywritten scripts, projects, music tracks, ideas, and get the hands-on help you need. But wait, there's even more. The first 40 people who register will receive a getaway to Las Vegas and Hawaii. Registration is open now. Every seat is counted, and they're going fast. A conference of this magnitude sells out in days. You won't find a boot camp like this anywhere. While you're thinking some people are registering, take your vision from your brain to the bank. Log on now and find the other surprise we did not tell you about. You'll be shocked. Go to www.survivinghollywoodtv.com and secure your seat now.
All right, we've got the one and only Michelle McKinney Hammond with us today, and we are going live right now to Ghana in Africa. Michelle, what's going on, Michelle?
Wow. I'm trying to figure out how to post and share. Okay, there I am. Okay,
you done posted Michelle and posted and shared all Michelle's fans, all her friends. You know what, people, and we're going to enjoy this right now. I know we're on early because it is 3:30 here in Hollywood, California. But what time is it there in Africa?
It is 10:30 p.m.
It's 10:30. It's almost time for 11 o'clock. almost time 11 o'clock news. She said 11 o'clock news. It's almost time for the 11 o'clock news. Oh, wow. This is incredible. Michelle, we're so glad to have you. We're not going to keep you long, but you know I'm making up stuff. Michelle, let's get right into it. You are a world-class author. You've written books. You've written material. You've done voiceovers. We're going to talk about your voiceover. We're going to talk about how you've been successful in business. And, you know, I know you're going to be able to say some things to encourage the people, lift them up. People are going through some things right now in this pandemic. First of all, how are you surviving in and during this pandemic?
Well, you know, I've had quite an exciting life during the pandemic. I had come to Michigan. My parents were, my mother had had surgery, and I came to the States to take care of her in Michigan. And I was on my way to Bishop Bronner's church to preach in Atlanta when they started shutting down everything. So that got canceled. So I jumped on a plane and flew to London because I had about 5 speaking engagements there. And the day after I landed, that got shut down. And so my 2-week visit to my friends in the country in London before I went to speak turned into almost 6 months, 5 months. And then after that, they had other people coming to their house. So a friend actually got me an apartment for 2 months. So I was living in London, darling. So I was like, what am I going to do with myself? I can't just sit here and just watch TV. I'm not a TV watcher.
Right.
So I started doing these things called Hangouts with Michelle McKinney Hammond, MMH Hangouts, every Saturday. And women started logging on from all over the world. I mean, literally from as far as the Philippines to Kenya, South Africa, the London, you know, the UK, America, Canada, just everywhere. Women were just, you know, because everybody was on lockdown. They didn't have anything else to do.
Right,
and
right.
You know, Steve, I got a bunch of really amazing friends. So I started having people come on and talk about different things. And we put them in breakout rooms and they started making friends with one another and literally formed this whole community online that lasted for months, you know. So I did that every Saturday. Now we're down to the first Saturday of every month.
Got tired of talking. Michelle got tired of talking now.
Yeah, so I need to do something where I can generate some income since I'm not going anywhere to speak. So you know, so I funneled them into, we have this thing called MMH Tribe with all the people that made friends. So they're in there. It's an interactive community online. And then we have a couple of private things that happen where I join them, you know, once or twice a month for them. So that came out of COVID, you know, I mean, just a whole new way of expressing myself, reaching people, ministering. So the president of Ghana, my president, had shut down the border because the first cases of COVID in Ghana were imported from Europe, you know. Right. So he shut down the border immediately. So the border was shut down. That was why I was in London so long. I could not get back to Ghana because the border was closed. So I had to wait for the border to open. And I have a music ministry here in Ghana. So we've started live streaming every Friday night. We do an hour of worship. I think it actually comes on about noon in LA because we're here at 7 p.m. Yes, 7 p.m. We're 7 hours ahead of you. So on YouTube and Facebook, we stream live every Friday now. So all of these things were birthed out of a difficult situation. I always say that crisis is the catalyst for change. Yeah. And so, you know, it's important when we are in a place where our hair is on fire and we're clutching our pearls, as they used to say, that we look at what our options are and make lemonade out of those lemons, you know, and it's wonderful. I'm excited because I feel like COVID was my friend. It gave me new ways to express myself. I created some master classes. I created a book club with my novels. People said, girl, what are you doing? I said, I'm getting busy because God's given me too much for me to sit on it just because of a pandemic.
Well, there it is. Michelle, let's go back about 10, 15, 20 years when you were writing and still are, but you're writing novels, books.
Mm-hmm.
You were at a point, you've written over 40 books, but you were at a point you've written in 1 year, 3 books.
Yeah, my average was 2 to 3 books a year. Yeah, for over 10 years. Yeah. Well, my background was advertising.
Right.
So, I think that was just the divine setup to give me the skill set to be able to write at that level, because it takes a special gifting. It's a lonely life writing, as you would know.
Yeah.
So I came out of advertising. I got fired. I got fired from Burrell twice, but we still.
I was going to say the great Burrell community. We know Burrell communication.
Yes.
Michelle, you had that gift where when you weren't at your desk working, you'd be downstairs at the restaurant having a Sprite.
A drink. Yeah. Drink and smoke. But I came out of school. I came out of school. I was the youngest person at Burrell. I was 21 when I started working at Burrell. And I actually was hired as an art director. But one day my writer was missing, and I wanted to do a commercial with Ray Parker Jr. for Coca-Cola. I'll never forget it. Yeah. And so I wrote, I couldn't find her, so I wrote the song myself. I said, I can do this. I've been writing poetry and singing for I don't know how long. So I wrote, they said, oh, you're a writer. I said, no, I'm not a writer. They said, yeah, you're a writer. We're taking away your writer from you. And I was like, you just wanted me to work harder for less money. No. And then I figured out, wait a minute, if I'm the copywriter and the art director on the project, I don't have to fight about who gets to go on the production. I get to go to LA and New York and party and have a good time and film my commercial and come back home if it's all mine. So I settled into that. And then I would go and do presentations to the clients, and I'd say, and the song goes like this. And I'd start singing. They said, oh, you sound good. You need to do that yourself. So that's how I ended up doing voiceovers and singing on commercials, because the client actually requested that my voice be on it. So, some things happen haphazardly in life, but other things you have to plan. So
that famous voiceover you did for McDonald's.
Oh yeah, I did McDonald's. I did Big Red. I did Coca-Cola. I did Chelicadoro.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Yes, I was playing the game of one-on-one takes two, my dear. All we need is me and you and the cello. That was me. Yeah. I never got to sing with Luther Vandross when he was doing jingles, but I would have loved that. But Chicago was the hopping place for jingles. So we had like the Haywood sisters and all these famous people singing, that went on to fame in other ways. And it was a very exciting time. I wrote a bunch of jingles with Koo Carell and Lainey Stewart, who are now doing, Rihanna and Beyonce and Chris Brown and all these people. So it was an exciting time. Ended up getting a music publishing deal with Famous Music, which is now Sony Music, for a couple of years. And then I walked away from that when I got saved and decided to get sane. And they wanted me to write nasty songs, and I refused. So we had to move on then. So I moved on to writing books.
Well, tell us about the first process to writing a book. There's a lot of people out there doing cover. They want to know how to write books. What do you think is the first thing you should do if you want to write a book?
They should sign up for my class that I'm going to be doing in January. You can DM me if you want to be a part of that class, but it won't be till January. But if you DM me on Facebook or whatever, I will get back to you and let you know when to start. Well, the first thing is, for me, very simple, is figuring out what's the point of what it is you're writing. Because a lot of people say they want to write, but, they just want to write. And it's like, well, what do you want to write and why do you want to write it? And do you think you're called to write it? And what's it about and how is it going to benefit other people? So there are a lot of questions you have to ask yourself. And then you've got to decide what the point is. And I think that because I have that background in advertising, I have a very systematic way of writing a book, which is what I'm going to share in my writer's workshop, my masterclass. But basically figuring out what the point of the book is, what the takeaway is supposed to be for people. How are you going to empower them to forgive, forget, release, make money, whatever your point is. And then every chapter should be outlined to point to that one point. That's the quick cliff notes on how to write. But I systematically wrote. And I think that's why I was able to produce 2 to 3 books a year that became bestsellers. I've sold over 2 million books worldwide. That was at last count 10 years ago. And my books are still selling. They're considered classics, So once you get that mentality, I decided to have a conversation with my reader. So I'm known, my reader fan base is very loyal because they think they all know me. Because in my books, I talk to them like they're my girlfriend. And then I wrote 2 books for men. And then I wrote 2 novels. All the other books were self-help books. So I had definite principles that I put in place to helping people live, love, and overcome. Those were my 3 areas. I'm known as a relationship expert, but I basically like laying out strategies and principles that are transformational for people, that give them the victory that they really want in those aspects of their life. So for me, every book has got to point to that. I'm not telling a story just to tell a story because I need to get something off my chest. No, I have an end in sight as to what I want people to take away from my book.
Do you think people should quit their job and say, I'm going to write full time and do a book and then put it out there and self-publish? Or?
No, I don't. I think, I had a strategy for that too, Steve. And I hear a lot of people say, I'm going to do this. And they just launch off into the deep. And then they blame God when they broke. It's not his fault. You crazy, I think I told you the story that when I decided I was called to ministry, my conversation with God is, God, if you want me to be in ministry, you need to give me a way to sustain myself. And I ended up doing a voiceover for Big Red Gum that became my weekly salary for an entire year and supported me as I eased into ministry, and my speaking engagements then overtook the career that was paying me before. So what you do is you find a way to work your gift part-time until your gift overtakes your regular job. Then you get to quit your day job, but you shouldn't do it before that, because if you're worried about money, you're not going to be creative.
Now let me let everybody let you say that again, because basically God told you to go into full-time. Here is one of the top marketing executives in Chicago, novel writer, book writer, everything. He told you to go to full-time ministry, and you told God, if it's for me to go to full-time ministry, financially provide me a way to take care of myself. Now, it's to my understanding, when you did the Big Red commercial, you did that commercial one time.
Yeah, I did it one time. It took 10 minutes. And, it was like about $40,000 later, they called me back to do part 2, So that was how I transitioned into ministry. I wasn't begging. I wasn't asking anybody to support my ministry and give me money or anything like that. Paul was a tent maker. He had a way of providing for himself while he was in ministry. He was not dependent on churches until he went to jail. And then the Philippians took care of him and the rest of the churches didn't, So I think that a lot of times we're not wise. We've got passion and zeal, but we don't have wisdom. And like I said, when you broke, you can't be creative. I didn't want to be worried about money while I was writing my first book. When I started writing my book, I was I was working at Burrell when I wrote the first chapter, and then I got distracted and didn't finish it. And then I got fired from Burrell. That's a whole other story. And I was walking across the street on my way to an audition for Hamburger Helper voiceover and got hit by a car. Ended up in bed for a year and a half, 3 surgeries later. I finished my first book in bed, literally. I got my deal when I was on crutches. The publisher came to Chicago. I was still on crutches when I met him, and he took me out to dinner. And that book sold out of its first printing in 3 weeks, 12,000 copies gone. And they were shocked because they had not anticipated the book moving like that, because I was a first-time author. So they tell the story about this guy running through the warehouse saying, how did this happen? She's an unknown author. And I said, no, the author wasn't unknown. Jesus wrote the book. I just took the notes. I was just a stenographer. So of course it was going to sell.
Wow.
So
So
they came up and told me, well, what do you want to write next? I was like, I got to keep this up because, I'm kind of a happy thing when I got a short attention span.
and that's how you got your book deal and started
Yeah,
writing,
that's all.
pumping out books. What would you say to people right now to lift them up, encourage them? Because some people right now watching this are going through some financial challenges. We're going to transition into your how to reinvent yourself, but some people are going through financial challenges and they're like, they don't know what to do, but they got to work this 9-to-5 job, but they still want to write this book, but they want to work the 9-to-5 job, and they don't know, when do I write the book? Do you write the book when you get off of work?
You get up early, you go during your lunch break, you do it at night, you pick your best writing time and you commit to an hour a day. Now, if you can just do that, for somebody, they need to commit to 15 minutes because if you don't do the 15 minutes, you're going to beat yourself up. If you don't do the hour, you're going to beat yourself up. If you do the 15 minutes and you go to the hour, you can congratulate yourself and high five yourself in the mirror. So that's, I wrote that during my lunch hour, that chapter. Okay. Now, of course, after I got hit by the car, I had plenty of time to think about writing from the bed with a cast on my leg. I wasn't going anyplace else. So a friend of mine would come and literally sit and do query letters for me while I wrote. And so that's how that book got finished. So, and I still write that way. There, depending on what I'm writing, I either have to get up early before the phone starts ringing. I might get up at 4 and write to 6 and go back to sleep.
Wow.
Okay.
4 a.m.
Yeah. Or I'll get started about 2 o'clock and I won't stop till about 8. Because in the afternoon is when my brain really works the best. I'm not a morning person. So depending on if the deadline is on me, then you got to do what you got to do. But I'm moving into self-publishing at this point. But you have to just pick that time of the day where you feel your creative streak and commit to it. This becomes something called discipline. One of the last fruit of the spirit that nobody ever talks about is self-discipline. And as a writer, you have to be disciplined. You've got to make the commitment. I'm writing 10 pages a day or 2 pages a day or whatever it is, and stick to that thing and then reward yourself. Take a day off, let your get the brain cloud out and then start again. But yes, it's commitment, it's discipline, it's focus. It's not all fun, but you do what you got to do. And then when you start helping people, when they start reading your book, you go, this is why we do what we do. Yes.
You write a lot about relationships. You are one of the master African-American female writers in the world on relationships. What advice would you give a young man seeking a great woman? And then what advice would you give a woman seeking a great man?
Be a great man, be a great woman, and you'll attract what you are. But I'm going to go beyond that and say, be purposeful with your life. A lot of people say they're bored, and I say, if you're bored, you're boring. Wow. And the person that you think would entertain you is not going to stop and look at you twice because you're boring. Okay. So what we've got to do is kick ourselves into gear, get a life, be living it fully so that it positions you to meet someone of like mind. A lot of people sit around waiting for love to happen before life can happen, but life has to happen before love can happen. It's backwards.
You wrote a book called The Diva Principle, and Fabiana Anderson joined us. Fabiana, don't forget to share this with your friends. Share this right now. And I'm going to let people write comments and notes to you real quick before we end our broadcast. But tell us about the Diva Principle, because I know you're getting ready to do the series. That they're going to go to michellehammond.com for more information. But what was going on in the Diva Principle?
Well, the diva means divine inspiration for victorious attitude. And I love character studies, and I love biblical character studies because I feel that they are very modern stories with ancient principles that still work today. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to look at the different women in the Bible and in a modern context of Like the Shulamite woman said, don't look on me because I'm dark. I've taken care of everybody else's stuff except my own vineyard I have not kept. Well, she could have really suffered from deep self-esteem issues, but she understood that she was lovely, and she understood that it started with her keeping her own vineyard. And I think that a lot of women today are everything to everybody but themselves, and they're not keepers of their own vineyard. So how do we do that? So that we're well-kept women who now are able to be an even greater blessing to the people in our lives, So I just literally took apart stories like that and just put a modern spin on them I believe that everything starts with mindset and attitude. And so that's what it was. I said, we've got divitude, okay? We are getting to a place where we're having the right attitude that puts us in the right position to get the right type of life that we've always wanted. So that and the power of being a woman, which I'm going to be relaunching at December 1st. So I'm really excited about that.
I'm gonna hit a quick speed round real quick. A quick note: 100 ways to get and keep his attention.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a power note on that one.
Well, there's 101 ways. How about that? I covered every aspect of a woman in there, from your body language to your mouth, your eyes. Can you cook? Your attitude. I think that a lot of times women say that men don't approach them, but they're not open. And how do you carry yourself in a way that you are an invitation so that people want to approach you? Richard Lawson, who's a great friend of mine, said something one year that really struck me. He said, if I met myself walking down the street, I would want to be my best friend.
Wow.
That's powerful. It's like, how many people would want to be their friend if they met themselves, Wow. And so be that person that people want to approach, that look at you and they see that you're open and you're alive and you're vivacious and you're joyful and your life is the party that they want to attend. So all of those things, there's lots of things that we don't think about as women as to what really attracts a man. So that's really what that book was about.
How to be found by the man you've been looking for.
Oh, yeah. Well, I did a breakdown on the book of Ruth. Ruth, I don't think Ruth had on any makeup the day she met Boaz. I don't think it was on the top of her mind to be looking for a man. Ruth was in purpose. She was taking care of somebody. She was serving somebody. And that's actually what Boaz found to be attractive. When he asked about her, her reputation was that she had a servant's heart, that she was a good woman. So, I think that we don't think about building a reputation that precedes us before God presents us to the man. So that when he inquires of us, what he hears about us is what makes him make up his mind that he wants to protect you, provide for you, because all of that went on. He immediately told her not to go anyplace else, made sure she was provided for, protected, and kept, and considered it an honor when she finally said what she needed from him. Which that part, don't try it today. Let the man ask you.
Oh, Michelle, I'm a slowly transition, and she said the same as wanting a friend.
Yes, Fabiana, that's true.
You must be friendly. You must be friendly. Good work. Now, Michelle, I'm going to transition before we end to what's for you is for you. What God has for you is for you. You packed up, left the United States of America. You were large here, large in charge, commercials, TV. Your books are still selling, but now you live in Ghana. But when you got to Ghana, you wasn't welcomed in Ghana by some people you know.
Yeah. Well, family will do you in sometimes, but that's all right. God is sovereign. And you know what, Steve, is so amazing? Let me tell you this story quickly because you won't believe this. I didn't even get to tell you this part. But, before I left America, I was, running with Eric Tenenbaum and all these people. They were trying to get me a talk show. And so, people had been prophesying to me that I was going to have my own show and I was going to be doing this and I was going to be doing that. And so I was sitting in Ghana in my house one day And I said, God, what about all my TV dreams? What about, I was going to be doing movies and all this stuff. About 5 minutes later, the lady that works in my house came and said, someone's here to see you. And I said, well, who is it? And she said, I don't know, but they want to talk to you. So I came downstairs, and they were some location scouts, and they were shooting a movie and wanted to use my house for the movie. So I said, okay, that sounded kind of fun, so I let them do it. So when they came, can you do this part? And it ended up being this huge movie. And I was in it for like 5 minutes and became famous in the movie for 5 minutes. And then people started calling me to do movies. I have now done about 6 movies, starred in one called Candle in the Wind. Look it up in the, you can see the trailer on YouTube, Candle in the Wind, Ghanaian film. Ended up doing that now. And I've never auditioned for a movie. They write the role and call me and say, Mommy, we'd like you to do this role. Will you do it? And I said, let me read the script. If I like it, I'll do it. So I've done several TV series. And last year I wrote and produced my own movie. And I'm still finishing the edit. So it's going to come out. And then I started a music ministry. And we have 3 music CDs on iTunes. Let's just talk about reinvention, okay? I get busy wherever I am. I don't let grass grow under my feet. There's a story in the Bible. I always got to bring the Bible into it. There's a story in the Bible in Kings about these 4 lepers. And they were sitting, and this is a pandemic story, okay? They were sitting on the outskirts of town because they were outcasts and they were starving. And they sat there and said, well, what we going to do? You know what? We can sit here and starve. Or we can go into the city and starve because they're starving in the city. Or we can just go on over into the enemy camp and maybe they'll feed us. But otherwise they'll kill us. But those are our options. They decided to go to the enemy camp. And when they got there, the whole enemy was gone because God had caused confusion and they left everything behind. So the lepers ended up eating and feasting and taking gold and silver, all in it all, having themselves a good time. Until about early morning, they said, you know what, we shouldn't keep this to ourselves. Well, let's go into the city and let them know that there's some food and stuff. And so everybody ended up being fed. Now, why do I like that story? I like that story because in a situation that could have paralyzed them and they could have given in, they considered their options and they took action in agreement together. And their action didn't just feed themselves, it fed other people. And I believe that every difficulty in life is meant to squeeze us to the next level of doing something beyond what we thought we could do that benefits not just us, but benefits other people. And that is how I live my life. That's the philosophy I live according to. And I just felt that COVID, people were hollering and screaming. Now, I was in London and people were like, well, how's life in London? I say, I don't know. I'm in London, but I'm in the house. Okay. Wow. I did not leave the house. I was in the country, so I went for a walk every now and then on the country road. But other than that, I stayed in the entire time. And I would tell you something, I enjoyed myself because I was reinventing myself. I was thinking of things that I could do, what my options were, what I could do from where I was. And I was not going to let being in the house keep me in the house. I ended up all over the world on my computer. So what am I saying? I'm saying that in the middle of difficult circumstances, discover your options. Don't say I have to be in the house. Say I get to be in the house. Now, see, when I shift my mindset to I get to be in the house, I start thinking about all the things I can do in the house. But if I say I have to be in the house, I'm paralyzed and I'm going to sit there with my mouth poked out talking about the walls are making me crazy. I was in my own apartment by myself for 2 months in London. I can tell you on one hand the times I left my apartment, about 5 times in the 2 months. Because I found a store that delivered my food and I didn't go outside, okay? But can I tell you that in that place, I ended up creating courses, master classes, reaching out to the world on Zoom. I was so busy. People were saying, girl, you're doing it. I was like, I'm busier than before the pandemic. Good gracious.
Wow.
You know, so I think that we've got to get out of this, what we can't do, what we have to do, and get to what we get to do.
You know,
and that ends you up.
One of your favorite stories you tell me about your current house in Ghana, and I want to share this with the people. What's for you is for you. When you got to Ghana and got to that place, your siblings weren't happy about you being there.
No, they weren't. They were not happy about me being here. And we couldn't find my dad's will. And in the end, you know, my father had left a lot of things to me, and that's probably why they weren't happy. I was surprised. I wasn't expecting anything. I just loved my daddy. I just came to the funeral, you know. But it literally changed my entire life. And so, you know, I'm still here 9 years later. Feels like I just moved here. And life has been good. And it's been a place of me discovering other things that probably just would not have happened in the States. You know, I co-hosted a show in the States, a women's talk show, which I won an Emmy for co-hosting.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not like I didn't have, you know, stuff going on. But, you know, Steve, I was here. I flew to Minneapolis to do a women's conference. My phone rang. And I wasn't going to pick it up because I was so busy yakking with my friends. But the Holy Spirit said, pick that phone up. When I picked it up, someone was on the line saying, we're calling from the office of Roma Downey and Mark Burnett, and she would like you to be a part of the special she's doing. And I was like, what? Is this a cool call? Who's trying to fool with me?
We love Mark and Roma.
Yes. But I ended up doing that special, and she reached out to me, and she's become a dear friend. She had me come and help her with her book launch when she did her book, Box of Butterflies.
Yes.
And she has just been a dear, dear friend. And I was living in Ghana when that happened. Roma found me. To this day, I don't even know how she found me.
Wow.
So going back to what you were saying about what's for you is for you. Huh. Please, are you kidding me? God knows where you live. He knows how to track you down. He knows how to find you. He knows how to bless you when it's time to bless you. In the meantime, not a day of your life is wasted because it's all leading to where he's taking you, and you're just in training up to then. That's what I tell people. God uses it all.
I was going to say, give us your closing comments, but you just gave us the main thing. What's next for you? I know you got, everybody can go to michellehammond.com and join the club you have right now. Join the other club that you do. Tell us next.
Well, I have a relaunch of The Power of Being a Woman coming out. I'm going to be doing a master class on that after the beginning of the year. I'm going to be doing a master class for writers called Right to Be Heard. And I've got a lineup of people, that are going to tell you every part of the industry and what you need to do. So I'm really excited about that. But I'm just building resources on my website, courses that they can log on and take, book clubs, all kinds of things. So they need to go to my website and then make sure that they're on the email list. That way they know when I'm having live events that are free or paid that they can attend. So I'm excited and pumped and ready to meet new people. And Steve, for me, it's not just about me meeting people. It's about me connecting them with one another.
Yes.
And what has been happening through my MMH Hangouts is that women are meeting each other from all over the world in their breakout chats and connecting and becoming friends. So it has just been amazing. So, you know, lots of stuff. But, you know, let us look at COVID as an opportunity rather than a curse.
Wow.
You know, it really is God giving you a second wind to reinvent, reshift. Now is the time. Yeah. You know, literally, we've always said, I've always wanted to, but didn't have the time. Well, now you do.
Wow.
You know, take advantage of it and recenter yourself. I say it's time to do something new. Try the thing that you never did before that always wanted to. You know, no glory without risk.
You know, that just blesses me today because I'm telling you, I've been just as busy now during the COVID situation. I'm having a good time in the house, getting things done, adjusting and building products, creating videos, and just, it's like I tell people, God, this is not caught God off guard. He knows what he's doing. It's all part of God's plan. Michelle, you are absolutely best. And we've got another, thank you so much. This is much needed. As I'm stagnant in life, while working hard, taking care of others, but I feel like I'm going nowhere. What do you want to say to Fabiana right now?
Fabiana, you know, all those people will still be there when you get back. Have you ever noticed that sometimes you feel like you're losing time, and then the next day, all the things that were waiting for you are still waiting for you? So you have to carve time out of there for yourself. You know what they say on the plane. Put on your oxygen mask first before you try to help anyone else. Because if you get stagnant, that means that they're stagnant too. And you know what? I think there's a little bit of a God complex there. Don't try to be all things to all people, because he's God and you're not. So every time that you're rescuing and doing for others, they don't have the opportunity to grow that they need. So you're stagnating them because they're not growing, because you're doing what they need to be doing to build the wings they need to fly. So take time for yourself, and then make some decisions about just how many pieces of yourself you're willing to give away, so that you give away your best self and not your tired, stagnant self.
Michelle, man, me and Michelle been friends for years, almost 20 years, Michelle.
That's
you
right.
Everybody just doing it, man. You just writing books. You're doing it. You're making everything happen. And she just said, God bless you. You're so right. And I'm glad you're able to bless somebody on the day. Well, Michelle, it's been my joy connecting with you. We're going to keep talking when we get off the air. Yeah. You're just a blessing. You are just a blessing. Your books
and you are a blessing, Steve. You always pop up at just the right time to just get me started all over again.
Woo! You know, I've been working with Michelle for years, and you know what? We just but Michelle pays on time. Praise the Lord. Say we got no problem. Just a successful author, Michelle. What closing words do you want to, and say? And most of all, thank you so very much. What closing words do you want to say to the people out there watching and those who watch the rebroadcast out there right now?
You know, life is to be lived, and we have a promise of an abundant life, not just life. So that's up to you, though, and the decisions that you make and the choices that you make. Don't feel that anything can stop you. Never say never. Just find another way. Okay, if it's not working that way, it's just time to shift to a different mode of operation. It's not shutting anything down. It's just making you move yourself to another level. So never say that. Keep it moving.
Michelle McKinney Hammond, y'all, one of the greatest writers in the world, motivation coach. Everything. No, got Michelle started. Get Michelle started. You know, Michelle, you want to do one of those voiceovers for us real quick? Let people know how good the voiceover. And you want to do one of those voiceovers for us real quick, Michelle?
What should I say?
What did you say? What did you say? We're gonna put this on the screen too right now. Go ahead, Michelle. And also, let me say this while Michelle is thinking right now. If you can please, I need 10 people to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I need 10 people. I've got 1 million views on my channel, and I need 10 more people to help me out. If you're watching this right now on YouTube, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if this interview has been a blessing to you, you can send us a cash app of $1, $2, $5, whatever. We here to bless other people. If you want Michelle's friends, and guess what? Everybody know I give away tablets, I give away pads, I give away smart watches. So starting again next month, I'm going to be giving away trips to Hawaii, trips to Vegas, cash app, just blessing people as much as we can. So I thank y'all so very much. Michelle's going to give us one of those great voiceovers out there as well. Go ahead, Michelle. Tell us about that real quick.
It's time to live your life now.
Now, that smart piece made her some money, y'all. That little smart piece.
You did what you did today at McDonald's.
Woo. Brother Steve, Michelle, we out here, y'all. Until next time, good day, good night. God bless. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.